Three friends, Jake, Emily and Ryan, embarked on a road trip from Las Vegas to Flagstaff. Route 66, with its legendary allure, promised adventure. They were excited to experience the historic highway. Laughter filled the car. Music blasted on the radio. The open road beckoned. Their hearts thumped with anticipation. As they drove deeper into the desert, the landscape grew desolate. Ghost towns dotted the roadside, remnants of a forgotten era. The air grew heavy, filled with an eerie silence. They noticed a car following them, a beat-up old truck. It appeared suddenly, then vanished just as quickly. The radio began to crackle, the music replaced by static and strange whispers. GAP 3S. Just as panic began to set in, they spotted a flickering neon sign in the distance. An old gas station, seemingly abandoned but still somehow operational. They pulled in, their nerves on edge. The place was a relic from the past, with rusted pumps and cracked windows. GAP 3S. As they stepped out of the car, a figure emerged from the shadows. An old man, his face weathered by time and hardship. He moved slowly, deliberately, as if each step carried the weight of untold stories. GAP 3S? You folks lost? He asked, his voice gravelly and tinged with an unsettling calm. They explained their situation, hoping for help. The old man nodded, filling their tank with a deliberate slowness. GAP 3S. You need to be careful out here, he warned, his eyes locking onto theirs with an intensity that sent chills down their spines. This road, it ain't what it seems. People come through here and they don't always make it out. GAP 3S. The friends exchanged uneasy glances, feeling the weight of his words. The old man handed them a map, marked with ominous X's and circles. Stick to the main road, he advised. And whatever you do, don't stop for anyone. GAP 3S. With a final, lingering look, the old man retreated into the shadows, leaving them with a full tank but a growing sense of dread. As they drove away, the gas station faded into the darkness, its neon sign flickering one last time. GAP 3S. The road ahead seemed even more foreboding now, and the friends couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The old man's warning echoed in their minds, a haunting prelude to the horrors that awaited them on Route 66. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across the highway. Route 66 seemed to stretch endlessly before them, a desolate ribbon of asphalt. They were running low on gas, and the next town was miles away. The car's engine sputtered, coughed, and died. Silence descended, broken only by the sound of their own ragged breathing. GAP 3S. As the group walked back to the old gas station, they noticed a flickering light from the diner next door. Curiosity got the better of them, and they decided to investigate. GAP 2S. Inside, the diner was a time capsule from the 1960s with faded posters and a jukebox that hadn't played a tune in years. Dust covered every surface. GAP 2S. One of the friends spotted an old tattered map pinned to the wall behind the counter. They carefully unpinned it and spread it out on a table. GAP 2S. The map depicted Route 66, but there was something unusual about it. A faint, hand-drawn path snaked through the desert, marked with strange symbols. GAP 2S. At the end of the path was an X labeled Safe Haven. The friends exchanged uneasy glances. GAP 2S. Could this be their way out? They debated whether to trust the map, but with no other options and the fear of the cursed road weighing heavily on their minds, they decided to follow the hidden path. GAP 2SS. With the map in hand, they ventured back into the night, hoping the mysterious route would lead them to safety and away from the eerie occurrences that had plagued their journey. They were stranded, their phones had no signal. They tried the radio again, and this time a voice crackled through the static. "Turn back," it hissed. "This road is cursed." A chill ran down their spines. They decided to start walking, hoping to find help. But the desert night was alive with strange sounds and shadows that seemed to move just beyond their vision. GAP 3S. As they trudged along the desolate road, they noticed a faint light flickering in the distance. Hope sparked within them. They quickened their pace and soon stumbled upon a group of travelers huddled around a campfire. Relief washed over them as they approached, but it quickly turned to unease. The travelers' faces were etched with fear. One of the travelers, an older man with a haunted look in his eyes, spoke up. "You're on Route 66, aren't you?" he asked, his voice trembling. They nodded, exchanging worried glances. The man continued. "We were too. Something's not right on this road. We've seen things, heard things." Another traveler, a young woman, added, "We tried to leave, but every turn we took brought us back here. It's like the road won't let us go." The friends listened intently as the travelers recounted their own terrifying experiences. Strange lights in the sky, whispers in the wind, and shadows that moved on their own. The older man leaned in closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "Whatever you do, don't trust the truck. It's not what it seems." A chill ran down their spines. The campfire crackled, casting eerie shadows on their faces. They realized they weren't alone in their ordeal, but the shared stories only deepened their fear. The road ahead seemed darker and more dangerous than ever before. Suddenly, headlights appeared in the distance, the truck from before. It raced towards them, its engine roaring. They dove off the road just as it screeched past, its horn blaring. They were trapped, hunted, their hearts pounded in their chests. Adrenaline surged through their veins. They ran, scrambling over rocks and through the underbrush. The truck pursued them relentlessly, its headlights like the eyes of a predator. They stumbled upon an abandoned diner, its neon sign flickering faintly in the darkness. They barricaded themselves inside, praying for morning. As dawn broke, they emerged from the diner, shaken but alive. The truck was gone. They continued down the road, their fear giving way to exhaustion. Finally, they reached Flagstaff, a beacon of civilization in the desolate landscape. Back in their hotel room, Emily went through the photos on her phone. She stopped, her blood turning to ice. A photo taken during their terrifying ordeal showed them huddled in the diner, but behind them, peering through the dusty window, was a figure. A shadowy figure with eyes that glowed red in the darkness. Emily dropped the phone, her scream echoing in the room. They had escaped with their lives, but something sinister had followed them home. The horror of that night on Route 66 and the chilling realization that they were not alone would haunt them forever.